Yo, what's good? Welcome back to another episode of the Merry Bunch podcast. My name is Chris.
Crystal.
Nico.
Briana.
William.
Keonda.
And we are the Bunch. The Bunch starts season 2 with Chris and Briana Judd on how they discuss the ups and downs of marriage. The Judds discuss how maintaining a marriage with 3 kids and being entrepreneurs plus everything that life brings you. Lock into the conversation and see the reality of their marriage. All right, let's welcome the Judds to the Merry Bunch podcast, y'all.
Yo. Thank you for having us.
What's good, man?
It's a pleasure to be on here.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
For sure. Well, I'm Chris.
Yeah, there are 2 Chris and 2 Brianas.
A whole lot of Chris and Briana. And like I said, it's a pleasure to be on here with y'all.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks for coming.
No problem. Hey, man, it's been a long time, man.
Yeah, it has, man.
For real.
A real long time. We got a lot of history, man.
For real. So, me and Chris, we been knowing each other for, what?
All our childhood. I want to say, yeah. I mean, I've always known Chris since I was a kid from being out. We in the same neighborhood, but us growing up, teenage years, we was like that right there doing music. And I was at Chris' house every single day doing music and work. He was like a big brother to me.
Yeah. And I was definitely pulling up at his house.
For sure.
Probably getting on his nerves.
I'm getting on our mama nerves. We end up making all that noise in the back.
Yeah. But yeah, we definitely been knowing each other for some time. But it's good to see you, man. Good to see both of y'all. We appreciate y'all coming through.
Yeah, for sure, man. We was excited about this.
Oh yeah, I also know, bro. We grew up together from the same hood, you know.
Yes, sir.
Seen them every day. Played football in the street, you know, all that.
Yeah, so, our whole childhood.
Yeah, whole
together,
childhood.
Man.
Yeah, so yeah, I know, bro, too. Yep.
That's a fact, man. We got a lot of history. A lot of history at the table right now.
Yep.
For sure, man. All right, so y'all ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
All right, we gonna tap into, get into a little background. How long have you been married?
We've been married 6.5 years now.
That is correct. Good job.
6.5.
He even got the half.
I gotta see. My son is my calendar for that. So whatever he is, that's what we are. Yeah.
She looked at you with that side eye too,
Yeah,
like you better get it right.
I seen that. Yeah.
Bro, had it down to a T.
Yeah, 6.5 years, and we've been together for 10 years.
Okay.
We've been married for 6.5.
Okay.
That's what's up,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
That's good, man. All right, so what's the story? How did you meet?
I'll go.
You good,
All right, so Chris and I met each other in high school. We didn't date. We were just cool. Chris was like the homie. My parents always accused me of dating Chris, but I did not. I did not date Chris in high school. We were really good friends. I honestly was closer friends with his cousins than I was with him for a long time. And I guess as we were older, we both found ourselves single. And it just kind of clicked. We would hang out and go to meet me at the bar. Or, let's go get dinner. And it was honestly we were friends for a really long time. And I think that's why it worked, because we were friends for so long. But yeah, it was honestly a DM jump. He
hopped up in a DM.
That's my boy.
It was something that
Down in the
middleman there too.
It was a middleman.
I sent the middleman out too. Like, hey, I don't know if you got that shot, but he go another.
And then it kind of, went from there. But yeah, we were friends for a really long time. And then it was kind of like, yeah, Chris, be talking about you a lot. And I was like, what? I see him all the time, So, anywho, yeah.
That's dope. We got high school background.
We do.
So what's up, man? That story. What's your side of the story?
My side of the story. I mean, like I said, like she said, we went to school with each other. We rode the same bus. never flirted, never nothing. I just, and then again, she came to our school when we was like 11th grade, I think.
I did come
Yeah, so she came like 11th grade year. So it was kind of like a new face, but you know what I mean. But she stayed down the street from me, so we was all in the same neighborhood. So, but that like she said, it didn't happen. The love thing or trying to date her, that didn't happen until we got grown. We didn't really approach each other. Nothing was teenagers.
Okay.
Well, in that manner. But yeah, that's basically. And then like she said, it was a DM and I had a buddy. I'm hanging out with him. I see her walking up the street one day. She had just got off work. She was in them nurse scrubs. I said, hey. I said, I think I said him, but tell her I said what's up. Yeah. And then from that point on, we've been inseparable.
What's something about them scrubs, boy?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Hey, look, man. I said something about them scrubs. The look in them, and I said, oh, she got a career. Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Yo, that's hey. So that brings me to the next question. Since we talking about scrubs, what attracted you two to each other?
Them scrubs.
No scrubs for you.
That's my initial attraction. You wanna go ahead first?
Chris was just very easily approachable. He was easy to talk to. And he wasn't overly aggressive. Some guys can be really, really aggressive as to what they're after, what they want. No, it was a very chill, homey type experience. It didn't ever make me feel like he was after one thing or the other. It was almost like an empowering thing. I could go to him and talk to him about other dudes when we were just friends, and he would give me honest feedback. And then it became all of a sudden, when things started shifting to, girl, I'm not going to keep listening to that. So, and when I knew I really liked him, what attracted me to him was he was very career oriented. He had his head on straight. And one day we was in the club. Oh my God, I haven't been to the club in so long, but we was in the club and there was another girl in the club too. And that wasn't necessarily dating with Chris. She was cool. We was all cool. And I was pissed. And so that's how I knew. I was like, okay, it's time to switch gears on this. Cause why am I mad? You know, like, why am I upset? He not my man or her man, but I don't want her here. So that's when I knew that it was time for us to, have a conversation, and we did. Not shortly after that, we actually had a sit-down conversation about what the next moves were. So, yeah, that's kind of how it progressed for me. It was actually a sit-down conversation from friendship to what we doing, type thing.
Right.
Yeah, likewise. Likewise, and hanging out with Bree was, like she said, it was real easy going. Like I was hanging out with my homegirl, and we were just having fun. It wasn't no pressure. I was attracted to her. She was very intelligent. She was career orientated. She knew what she was headed to, where she wanted to go. The scrubs, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, and then hanging out with her, I could tell she was real family orientated. She loved her family. She loved being around her children. She loved sharing everything that she experienced. She loved to share it with her children. Mm-hmm. So that really kicked in with me, because I was like, well, if I was gonna be with a woman, that's how I would want her to treat my children. Right. So that really drawed me into. And it just fun. She like having fun. So it was that really was a thing for me. Like I hung out with girls that like to have fun, but it was a different kind of fun hanging with her. And she introduced me to a lot of new things as well.
Okay. All right. Speaking on fun, man, how would you describe y'all dating process?
Yeah.
We had fun.
Yeah, we had fun.
We were friends.
Movie nights. And
yeah, it wasn't a lot of pressure because we were friends. So it kind of just rolled. Like my family knew homeboy Chris, and so it was like I told y'all, so yeah, I didn't feel any pressure.
No, it was fun. Just like we just getting to know each other, and like she said, being friends and coming to each other for advice. You know what I mean? I think that it wasn't no pressure. Like I said, that was the first time I really felt like it wasn't no pressure about meeting a girl, hanging out with a girl. I guess it's the fact that I've known her too prior to dating her. So that made it even more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're going to get into the next question. Who said I love you first?
That was the one I was reading that I don't know the answer to.
Me too.
I don't know.
I don't know when that like. I don't know.
That was like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Okay.
She said, we said it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it was said, and it was like effortless. Yeah. So it just kind of flowed with the whole dynamic.
I think that came after the club incident.
Look at here, I love you.
You got to worry about nothing.
And that too, man, like hanging out with her, I was proud of that. She dating, I was dating. We was hanging out. I was dating other girls and just hanging out with Bree. And I when I hang out with her and I hung out with the other girls, it was just a different feeling. It was a feeling that I felt like I wanted to be there. You know what I'm saying? Not to say I didn't want to be there with the other girls dating them at the time, but it just felt more of a connection. Okay. You know, I felt like it was more of a connection, and I hadn't felt that connection, so that I draw to that real fast.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. All right, so Briana, how did you know Chris was the one for you?
Well, first and foremost, when I didn't want that girl there at that club. Again, he was just easy to deal with. It was not a lot of effort. Chris and I, there was very, very little arguments. When you're dating somebody, it can get real testy. You know, lots of insecurities. We didn't have that, because we were very open with communication. And so that was kind of the draw to him, was that I could communicate well, and it just felt easy. And so that made it, you know, a kind of a no-brainer that I'm going to just stay over here because this feels better. You know, this is much easier to deal with than a lot of drama, because who wants to deal with, you know, toxicness when you don't have to, when over here is chill and the waters over here are not. So, you know, that's kind of how it meshed, and I had to make some executive decisions, and he did too, and we was like, you know, this just makes more sense, and it just felt better, you know. Yeah, so that's kind of how.
All right, Chris, how did you know when you were going to ask that big question, man?
How did I know? We had lived together about
a year.
No, it was way longer than that.
Well,
we lived together maybe.
Well, we moved to our new house.
Yeah, we moved to our new house. But we lived together in the house prior to that for maybe about 2 years.
I had the house before you moved in it.
Yeah, so like 2 years prior. It was 2 years of that, and then 3 years over there at the other house. So, okay, so. When was it?
We have been in the same house.
I remember when I did it and how I did it, but I don't remember like that day that just popped up in my mind. Like, yeah, we're gonna bust that move now. Yeah. But I don't know. It was Christmas Eve though, right? It was Christmas Eve.
It was Christmas.
I can't remember what year. I don't know exactly the year, but it was Christmas Eve, and I mean, I just knew when we lived together. That wasn't my first time living with a woman. I had lived with women prior to that. So when I lived with her, I got the experience for real, and I made that decision to move in with her, or move in together, and I could have stayed where I was at. I was good where I was at, but I knew I wanted to try that with her. And then once we tried that, and that was the real test right there for real. Like if I could live with this person, then and I like this person and starting to love this person, then I know we can really move forward. So when that happened, and I got a taste of that, and then I jumped into her daughter's lives, and I was basically helping raise them before we even got married. So me experiencing that made me want to be even more connected with them, you know. And I felt like that was the next step, which was marrying her, so I can really be a father and be who she needed to be, which was a husband. I mean, for me, needed me to be, which was a husband. Right. So I had that thought process with myself. I don't know when I did, but it was Christmas Eve, and I dropped the bomb. You know, she got the biggest gift of all gifts.
It was a whole party. It was probably people in our house.
We got a gift together because we didn't know she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Oh, y'all got married because she pregnant." We like, "We ain't even know." It ain't in that type of deal.
We got engaged Christmas Eve, and we found out that I was pregnant New Year's Eve.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Right there together. And so I'm texting my bridesmaids like, we got changing plans, guys. So yeah,
that was confirmation for me too.
It was just kind of like it all flowed. None of this was planned. It was just like it just all flowed and it happened, and yeah.
Yep. And I felt like that was God's work right there, because in my mind I always wanted whoever I had a child with, I wanted it to be my wife, and that's how it played out. And you know what I'm saying? I had that thought process in my mind. Well, you know, I was working towards that. I wanted that, you know, so that worked out, man. God worked that out. We weren't even planning on having no child or nothing. It just everything was just thrown in our lap at one time.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's what's up, man.
Do it.
Yeah.
So that was God's work.
Hey, God is good, man.
All the time, man.
Hey, so did any of you desire marriage before you were married?
Well, I knew I wanted to be married. I didn't necessarily have to be married. That wasn't a deal breaker in my book. But I was raising girls. So I had 2 little girls, and I just needed for them to know the correct way to do things. And marriage isn't always correct. I mean, if you in a marriage and it's toxic and it's not going forward, then you don't need to be in that one.
Right.
So I didn't want them seeing me in a relationship that just was unhealthy. But I did feel like marriage is something that you need to show, children that is obtainable. So yeah, that was a thing that was in my playbook, but it wasn't like a deal breaker. I didn't have a time limit. It was just like a natural flowing conversational topic a couple times, like, hey, what are we doing?
I think our ladies have that talk more than anything, right?
Yeah.
Amongst each other about marriage. I mean, guys, we do too
Yeah,
eventually,
yeah.
but I feel like women more so, early
Chris
on
and
than we do.
Our dynamic was different. It was just, we could sit down and have these conversations and there not be any pressure. Whereas another guy, if you dating somebody and you bring up marriage and they immediately get defensive, then of course it's going to then turn into an argument and then everything goes left. But it was never that way. So, when he did ask, it was no question. But I honestly had no clue. My friends all knew because, again, it was a Christmas Eve party. And so it was nice. It was really a nice proposal.
I think everybody knew but you, right? Yeah. I told
Yeah.
yeah, everybody knew but
I told you.
this was her moment. I said, this is her moment right here. Everybody got to be here. And it's Christmas Eve, too. We're going to host the Christmas party and everything here.
Yeah. We couldn't do it big.
Yeah. So this is your moment right here. You can't forget this Christmas Eve and you got engaged.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
All right, Russell, what about you, man?
Me, at the time before we started dating. Nah, I wasn't thinking about marriage like that. I mean, I was wanting to find me get in a healthy relationship and maybe potentially a lead to that, but that wasn't my, I was more focused on what I was trying to do, my career, trying to build myself up as an individual first, and then I was like, God, I'll cross that woman's path one day, or we crossed each other's path, but at the time I was just focused on me, trying to build me up. I know I couldn't do nothing for nobody if I didn't have myself together.
Right. Hey, that's real. All right, so if you could choose one word that describes you guys' marriage, what would it be?
I would say unique, because it's similar to other people's, but it's different at the same time. I feel like everybody's is unique, right?
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
we got a lot of similarities, but everybody's is unique.
Yeah.
And one word, if I could use one word, maybe teamwork. We work together.
We do work together. I don't know. I would say smooth. We're pretty smooth sailing with each other. I mean, who doesn't have their rocky conversations or their issues? But we communicate a lot, and even the toughest situations that a lot of marriages wouldn't survive with communication. Of course, if you communicate, you got to follow through with what you decide on during your communication. You got to be willing to put the work in, but we communicate very well. So yeah, it's pretty smooth. A lot of things that people complain about, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's not how it works over here. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, we're okay. Our household is a running crazy organization, but it's smooth because it is very, very teamwork and communication driven.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the perfect word for it.
Yeah, smooth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Teamwork and smooth.
Yeah, those two. Yeah.
Smooth teamwork.
There you go.
Yeah.
Run it right together.
All right, this kind of ties into the question you guys just answered, but what is your favorite thing about your relationship?
My favorite thing, the ability to. I am grateful to have a partner. I really am grateful to have somebody that I can fall back on. Like some days I just can't, like I'm completely checked out. And so I'm really grateful. I know some women who completely complain, my husband come in and he just don't do nothing. I'm like, because I'd be like, Chris, don't forget to go get so-and-so, or
I get that sometimes.
every
Don't let
once
her
in a while,
trick you
yeah.
out.
But I do.
Nah.
I know that if I'm having a day, he got it.
For
He can.
sure, for sure.
He can hold it, and I've made sure I've tested it.
Gotta make sure it's solid.
So yeah,
And I respect that too, because I come from a single. Well, me and my mom was just me and my mom for a long time before I got a stepdad. So I understand the responsibilities of a woman by herself having to take care of every single thing. And I always wanted to lift that off my mama. So I like, if I ever get with a woman, I don't ever want her to feel that way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right, so growing up, did you have any representation of marriage?
Yeah. My mother was a single mama, and it was just me and her because I don't have any siblings. Well, I do. That's a long story. Yeah. So we kind of.
I mean, you did. You had, your dad.
My
he
dad
remarried.
was married. Yes,
he
my
was
dad
around
remarried, which is how I ended up in Fuquay, in the Fuquay area. My stepmother was amazing. So it wasn't the typical like stepmom experience where people are like hating their. I actually loved her and I wanted to be around her, so I moved in with her. But my mother, I spent time equally between two households, and my mother was not married. But she was in a relationship that I didn't want to model my marriage after. So, I kind of had the two ends of the totem pole, I guess. So yeah. Yeah. And then your mom was.
And my mom was single. She was single parent till like probably till I turned like 15. No, around about 14. And then then we had a little sister around that time. But all the way up to you 15, 14, 15 as a boy, you almost. Ain't too much to somebody come around, ain't too much. They can influence you, but it's like you're already in your ways in a sense.
Right.
So with that, I grew up with. I got a stepdad later when I was 15, but like I said, I got the experience of having a provider at home, but I didn't never really ever get the father experience. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I had my father. My father was in my life somewhat. He had his own struggles he was dealing with. So he was around for me to call, talk to, or whatever it may be. But I didn't get the father experience. You know what I mean? So I didn't get that. I seen marriage, maybe going to some of my friends' houses, like going to their houses, and I seen actually marriage. Like where we from, when we was living in Baytree, you may find one or two people that had a dad in that whole entire complex. You know what I mean? So, and that was a fucked up. Oh, I'm sorry. That's messed up. You know what I mean? Like that. That's to say that it sounds bad, but it's like. With that being said, I'm just saying like when I went out to other people's households, I got to see what a marriage was, how people kind of interacted and worked. And as a child, when I was around it a little bit, I didn't know how to kind of take some of it in because I haven't been in a household with a man that runs a household. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was I was like a little bit as a child, kind of a little bit intimidated when you get around other people's dads in a sense because I didn't experience that in a little bit. Yeah. But besides that, yeah, I mean. Yeah, other people's married. My aunt was married for a while. So I seen it, but going to friends' household. That's where I kind of seen the marriage model.
Gotcha.
So we know y'all were really good friends and stuff like that, and it was smooth and stuff. But how was it getting married? Was it a big adjustment? Did y'all have to adjust a lot, or it was just smooth all the way?
No, we didn't really have to adjust. I mean, no.
I don't know, really. We was doing everything prior to that. We did the ceremony, really.
Yeah.
Okay. So what advice would you give to newlyweds?
To take it slow.
Yeah, take it one day at a time.
One day at a time. Communicate. Don't let outside people influence your marriage. I mean, it's yours, Yes. They're not paying your bills. They're not cooking your meals or sleeping in your house. So, yeah, don't let them influence what you've got going on. I'm not a huge person on secretive, keep it inside your house, because sometimes you need an outlet. You need somebody to go to talk about these things. So some people are that way. Nothing leaves their house, and that's fine. But when you fix it, you got to fix it internally. So if you let people in and you're willing to accept what they have to say and their opinions, then you have to fix whatever's going on with those opinions in the background because you've now, let it be known. But just take it one day at a time. And just one thing I remember that somebody told me when we were getting married is, Bree, when you get married to him, just be prepared to marry the same person, a different person over and over again. And I'm like, what do you mean? It was like, as people grow and evolve, they are different people. And so every day you might be married to a different person. Right. So, I just remember that, like, if he wake up grumpy, I'm like, all right, this is what we're dealing with.
Right. So I'm saying, go back to bed.
That's some OG advice right there.
Yeah. So, and it was, yeah.
When I kept getting at the wedding, everybody was like, don't fight over money. I'm like, okay, so that's what people doing, huh? Like, don't fight over money. You know, money in marriage, it can get tricky. Just don't fight over money, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of had our own stuff established. Like, we
Yeah,
didn't.
but they were saying, like, as coming together as one,
Okay.
y'all got to kind of be, you know, your ways and my ways got to be, we got to mediate that, you know what I mean? And that's a transition right there. So,
Yeah,
I mean, and we still, you know, we still in that transition.
I mean, because life is expensive.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yes,
It is.
definitely.
So, yeah, so
That's
yeah.
that's not a fight or a real conversation.
Nah, I mean, it was just some advice.
advice
A
you
couple
got,
of
yeah.
people
Right.
done gave
Yeah.
whoever was, you know, older people that's been married for a while. They just be like, hey, you know, you seem like you got everything else. Just don't let finances get in the way.
Yeah.
of it,
Okay.
You know. So I was like, okay, cool.
All
We can
right.
get over that hurdle. We fine.
Right.
Well, how do you guys handle conflicts and disagreements?
Communication.
Drinks, no.
Talk,
We communicate.
Drinks help.
Drinks help. But no, we do. We communicate. There are some times where we have to both step back and just be like, hey, let's just not talk about it right now. Let's just wait a little bit because, you know, things are a bit heated. And that's a plus with Chris is because a lot of people don't. They want to get their feelings out right now, no matter how bad things are. And that can really damage and make things almost irreparable. So we have had to step back, you know, step away from a situation and reapproach it later, and that's fine. But with communication, as long as we're willing to put in the work as to what we communicate, we've been okay. Yeah. So communication is huge. Just because you're busy all day, I know there's a thing I've seen on Facebook, like, do you want a busy man or one to call you all day and communicate? Well, he can do both. You can be busy and still
Right.
I mean, you can be respectful and say, hey, you good? I'm good. You know, I mean, it's all in communication. It just makes me feel better. It makes me know he's safe. I mean, it's scary being a black man in this world. You don't know what's going on. So I'm all over the place. Being a nurse, a mom, an entrepreneur. So, I mean, we have a lot going on and we're apart a lot during the day sometimes. And so just communicating when he comes back home, I already kind of know how his day went. And he knows kind of how mine went because we've communicated throughout the day.
Right.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Communication and God. Because
Yes.
some things, you get to some points where it's just like it's beyond you. Yeah, you need that.
sure.
You need that.
But
Definitely.
for sure.
So, what do you believe is the key to a successful marriage and happy marriage, and to keep it that way?
Focusing on your marriage, just staying, you know, and like she said, keeping your marriage, you know, not letting outside influences, and wanting better for your marriage, wanting better for yourself as an individual, and I think that leads to the marriage wanting to be better.
Right.
We definitely, we at least once a year we take time. We go on vacations, you know, to kind of reconnect and then find each other again in those times. And what else? And we go on dates all the time.
Yeah, we go on dates.
We regularly just
Vacation
up
be
and
the one.
leave.
That'd be the recharger though.
The vacations are definitely the recharger.
Yeah, that'd be the
Yes.
recharger.
Yeah.
I think that goes
Vacation.
for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Y'all a whole different couple when you're on vacation.
Hey, girl.
Nobody knows who it is.
Baby, I love you.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Big
Yeah.
difference. So that's therapeutic right there.
So knowing each other's, you know, that you need a recharge and seeing that, because everybody can't. If you can't look at me and know, okay, we need to plan something soon, then I don't know. You know? Yeah. So
Exactly.
So, like, in previous episodes, we had, like, just some random questions.
Okay.
So, like, we had this one question about, like, a fall-off season.
okay.
So, like, when you got married, was there any friendships or family relationships that kind of, like, ended after the marriage?
No, not immediately. I didn't have any friends like that where like completely no, don't marry him. All of my friends were Team Chris. I mean, as our marriage grew, yeah, you start realizing people and you cut them off, you know, right where they stand. I'm not afraid to cut anybody off for my peace. Protecting my peace is top tier in my book. But yeah, no, I don't really know any family members were like.
No, I just had to cut that girl off from the club.
Oh.
She about the only one she got cut off. That was it.
He might have had something going on, but I mean, I was again a very, very upfront communicator. Like, hey, this is what I'm doing now. I mean, you can accept it or not. And so, I didn't really have any people really. You know.
That's good. That's good. Are gender roles important in your relationship?
I mean, ain't it kind of like by default, like?
No.
I mean, not necessarily. You know, I wouldn't say that. No, because if I need to go in there and I got to wash dishes, I got to do some laundry, I got whatever. You know what I mean? Ain't no like, oh, you a woman, you got to do this. You know what I mean? We in a different time of day. You know, and if you live by yourself, you're gonna do it regardless, right?
Absolutely.
And we got them kids. You know, no. It don't. Somebody better just do it. You know.
Yeah, that's what it is. Just get it done. Just get it done.
You know? Like,
yeah. So it ain't no headache for neither one of us.
So no, we are very hands on. Like, just let's get this done. So whatever it may be, just somebody do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you said y'all was friends for a long time. Mm-hmm. So before y'all got married, did y'all like have people not wanting y'all to get married or not wanting y'all to be together? Did y'all go through that?
Well, Chris told me one of his cousins told him don't marry me because I was a gold digger.
Oh.
I don't know which cousin that was.
I don't even remember either.
Don't tell it on here.
I still smile with a big smile on my face because I was not. We were very established before we got married. So no, we didn't have anybody, you know.
I mean, you had too many haters.
No, we didn't have haters. They were pretty. I mean,
they were undercover if they were.
Yeah, the way they jumped in and just kind of helped us get the wedding done. I mean, because we planned this wedding and was married in like 4 months because I was pretty far along pregnant and I didn't know. But yeah, so not that our families was all like, go do this, let's get it done.
Yeah,
so
our family was very supportive.
Yeah, our families were very supportive.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do y'all deal with like stress in the relationship, like as far as work, family, like, and keeping all the negativity out y'all relationship?
I think anything we got a problem, just approaching it right then and there, and us talking amongst each other without any outside influence or nothing. Just us getting our thoughts together and getting our game plan together of how we're gonna approach it and fix it. And I think that's really.
Yeah, we don't really do a lot of negativity. Like, we try to keep conversations positive. If they start to go off on the wavelength, that's kind of when we like, okay, let's separate and regroup in a little bit. You know, because we realize that things are not going the way they should. It takes a while. I mean, I guess those things don't come until you mature and grow up, because when I was younger, then come on, let's argue, you know, but nobody has time or the energy for that. And we just don't. I honestly don't have we don't have much of that in our household. There's not much negativity.
I don't like arguing for one.
Yeah.
So. And that's not to say that I'm just going to be a pushover just because I don't want to argue neither, but let's figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm on. Just let's figure it out.
I mean, I guess the most stressful things that we have is our crazy schedules with these kids and their extracurricular activities and our work schedules. Then if a car break down and we got one vehicle, and I mean, things can get crazy, but again, we communicate, we talk, I will sit down with my schedule written down on a piece of paper and say, this is what I have to do this week. This is where I need to be. What about you? And I mean, we just all get it figured out. If we got to call in backups, call in the nanas and the mimas, then we just do, you know? But yeah, we just talk and communicate and get it done.
Yes.
So who should people vent to?
Oh, Lord.
What you mean, like within a marriage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if y'all having an issue and like, so say, you know, it's one of those moments like, okay, we need to regroup, but I got to get this off. Who would you vent to? Who should people vent to?
First thing, God. You talk to God first. You know, if you got a parent, maybe your parent. Go talk to your parent, someone you're a confidant. You know, there's no judgment area, and they're just going to kind of give you some game.
You've got to be very careful about venting to outsiders, because some people take that stuff, internalize it, save it.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised at how long they saving those receipts to turn them against you.
Saving it for mad day.
Yeah, I've had some vent sessions come back and be like, well, you said this about him. And I'm like, but I was venting.
Right.
You've got to just be really careful. I mean, I have my 2 go-to people, and that's all that get it. And so I know that if anything I vent about gets out, then I've got my select. And Chris got certain friends.
Yeah, I got friends. I vent a little bit. I'm a Leo, so I'm a thinker. I do a lot of thinking, even if I'm overthinking. You know what I'm saying? I do a lot of thinking, and I think to myself and try to be logical and take myself out of myself and talk to me outside of being Chris.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how a lot of times and sometimes I know that it only goes but so far. Sometimes you need an outside opinion or somebody with a little more experience than you. But yeah, I'm real picky about that. I don't talk to a lot of people about my problems, you know. But like that's why I said I go to God, or I either got to talk to my mom, you know, say somebody I know that's just gonna give me give me some good advice and give me an opinion, and what we talked about, it stays there.
Right.
Exactly.
And bro's like,
Hey, look, I know, fellas, y'all get that because it's tough sometimes for us to feel like we need to vent. You know, it take a while for you to find a woman that you can vent to, and you feel like you comfortable with that. You know, so that's hard, especially with just individuals. Besides a woman, just individuals picking people that you can trust.
And I mean, I guess about
Right.
stressful situations that's stressful enough that don't involve us 2 together. We vent to each other.
Oh yeah.
I can go to Chris like, "Ooh, these patients crazy," but that I don't need to go to outside people. But when I need to vent to somebody about Chris, you got to be very selective. So I have my people. Yeah.
So y'all know, like, social media be everybody run the social media, post this, post that. So how much of your relationship do you think you should post on social media?
That you answer that.
Okay. Dependent on how you feel. Again, I am not the person that's super secretive and like, nope, nobody can see it because I am ashamed and I don't want nobody to notice what's going on. That's not me. We all have our flaws. We all have been through things. And so I'm okay with that. But I'm also okay with dealing with the backlash or the opinions that come along with what I put out there. So I can take those things. Like I can take it with, I can. And some people can't. Some people, I guess the comments and the backlash that they get from what they put on social media is what is not handled easily, and they just don't. Now, I'm not going to put everything on, that happens in my relationship on social media, but I mean, we're pretty funny. Like we're pretty comical. And
I don't do personal stuff on social media. I just be having fun, posting stuff.
He does not.
Whatever. Like I don't feel like there's a place and time for that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like that's just like letting your blinds open and fighting with your girl and the whole neighborhood see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And that I hate to use that example, but I'm just saying it's just like just airing your business out for people that don't care. It's just your life is just entertainment. You know what I mean? Online. Yeah. So it's like it ain't coming from a genuine place to me. So I don't feel the need to put it up there. But I mean, at the same time, I don't want to be like she just said. I'm not the type of person where I'm just scared of what people think because I don't care about that. But I don't want to I don't feel like I should have to share that with everybody. Other than people that I loved ones and people that I trust. But yeah, I don't know. I keep it to a limit. I don't do too much with my relationship. I mean, I post, of course, we post our pictures of having fun with our children and all that, But besides that, I feel like that's where it stops.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, thank you for listening to part 1 of the episodes about the Judds. Next week will be part 2. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.